Go on the Pokemon Center UK website, and what can you buy? Out of all of the Scarlet and Violet era sets, the only booster boxes which aren't sold out are Temporal Forces and Paradox Rift. Everything else is gone. But the reprints will save us, right? The reprints will come. They'll print it into the ground because they know that there's demand for it. They know that they're sold out, and they know that the hype is real. But they can't, and they won't. The reprints are not coming. The sets aren't going down. These Scarlet and Violet sets, especially the earlier ones, just won't be reprinted. And when they are reprinted, it will not even dent the supply or dent the demand that people have for it. And the same is not just happening in English. The same is happening in Korean as well, and other languages. And it's happening everywhere. Because there is so much hype for Pokemon at the moment. There are so many sets that are just continually coming out and coming out. And this is a across-the-board Pokemon problem. They just keep churning out product. We all consume it because we love it. The games, the cards. But the quality or the attention to the fans' wishes isn't met. So what can happen? Because at the moment, the priority for Pokemon is the latest set. So Journey Together, Battle Partners, Prismatic Evolutions to an extent. And then the upcoming sets. The Hot Air Arena one in Japan, then the Rocket set, then the Black and White set that's coming out as well. And then who knows what's going to happen next year with the 30th anniversary. But let's face it, it's not slowing down. And we can easily see that. But all of these older sets, they're not going to get reprinted. The price just isn't going to drop. Pokemon isn't going to go back on their pricing. And I've said it's not just a UK problem. Pokemon Korea recently put up all of their standard sets, so basically not Shiny Treasures EX, V-Star Universe, Terrestrial Festival, all of these high-class sets, what they call them in Japanese and Korean. They marked it up by 50% MSRP. It's gone from 20,000 won to 30,000 won. And prices don't go back down. Once the price has gone up, the price stays up. So we're seeing across the board for the Pokemon company. One, prices are going up into a slow trend, but they are going up even in English, considering where we could have bought them for a few years ago. But the demand is just too much for Pokemon to... The generous argument of Pokemon is that they just can't keep up with supply. They've got to print the new sets. They've got to be focused on that. So these older sets, they can't attend to it. Even Surging Sparks. And Surging Sparks was a huge set, so popular. But they're not attending to it. Because people have moved on. Now it's Prismatic Evolutions. Now it's Journey Together. Soon it will be Team Rocket. And it's not slowing down. So that's the generous argument of Pokemon. The other side of it is that they like to feed into the hype. Because if there's more hype, more people are interested in the Pokemon hobby. And this is something probably that they've learned from Magic the Gathering. That when Magic the Gathering reprinted too much and there was too much product available, it's not good. It's not a good look for a company. If there's too much product sat on the shelves, it looks less desirable. Less people are interested in it. Because fundamentally, this is a card game. So you have that core audience who buy it to play it. Then you have an ancillary audience around them who, they like to collect it. There's a bit of FOMO as well. The further out you get from that core, there are people who just like collecting, they have nostalgia for it, they haven't really had a care for the game, maybe no one plays the game with them, nothing near them, nowhere near them to play the game. They like the Pokemon hobby, and this is something ancillary to that. So they collect it. They've always collected it. And then you have a larger group of people who are coming in as a majority, who this is a hot thing right now. And so that is what they want to buy. This is the in collectible at the moment. And that changes depending on where you are. Sometimes it was Beanie Babies, Pez dispensers. Now looking at Pokemon cards. That is the thing to collect. Lorcana had a little flash in the pan. There was a bit of hype around that. But Pokemon is what we're collecting. There's so much hype. People want to buy it. It's scarce. It appears, it appears rare, it appears desirable. And that helps. Because when you see it, you want to buy it. Because you might not find it again. So it's perfect for a company. And the question is, why would they change it? Because that majority is what makes them money. Unfortunately for the core fans, and from their perspective, the people who actually play the game, they would say that they're the ones who create the hobby. Because they are the fundamental workings of the hobby. And perhaps it's one of the reasons why Lorcaner never really had a big moment. You know, you think Disney, huge IP, but the card game wasn't there to back it up. They didn't have that 1,000 true fans, let's say, who was there to support it no matter what. They would buy it no matter what. There are a few, but not enough. But Pokemon has that, Magic has that. So they know that they've got that, who will sustain it. They don't have a choice. They have to buy it. But these other people who move around the hot things, they're just there for the hype. Pokemon, they like the hype. The FOMO people, they like the hype. And the collectors, genuine collectors, and it's maybe a bit of an unfair thing to say genuine collectors, but let's qualify that. The people who've been collecting through thick and thin, who were there through X and Y, Sun and Moon, who've always been collecting, not just Scarlet and Violet now that it's hot. The people who've always been there. They are in an unfortunate situation because they have invested so much time in the hobby. Maybe they've been collecting for 20 plus years. Now what? They have to continue. The people who play the game, that is their main hobby, their main source of enjoyment. And they've been playing for 10, 20 years. They're forced to stick through it. And they will stick through it because Pokemon will die. Again, it'll fall off into obscurity with only a select group of people who follow it. In the UK, similar to Magic the Gathering, it's not overly hyped, but as a company it does well because it has that core fan base, same as Pokemon has. And all of these people talking about it, including me, will get less interest because people fall off and people die off. But if you're a core collector, you're happy about that. If you play the game, you're happy about that. If you are someone who has a business and wants to get a distributor, you're happy about that. Personally, as a business owner, I cannot wait for Pokemon to fall off again, even though the products I sell are because the products are so hyped, the English products are so hyped, that I sell Japanese and Korean because it provides an alternative to English and also it's much easier to get that product. But I'd be more than happy when Pokemon dies off again, there's less heat around it, and then being able to get an English distributor. But there'll be a lot of movement away from the hobby. Rip and Shippers at the moment, they capitalise on the hype. But when it's low, how's that going to go? Will there still be that core audience who are there? There seems to be for sport cards. That seems to stay hyped. But we just don't know about the Pokemon card audience and how that will stay with Rip and Shippers. There's a lot of uncertainty that will come from it. And if Pokemon printed too much and reprinted too much, that would likely happen. So it's a fine line of balancing for them in terms of managing the reprints, managing stock, but not annoying too much of their fan base, not pushing too many people away. Give them enough so they keep wanting more. As they keep churning out sets, that's where it's going to go. Because if they did reprint, too much stock, not scarce anymore, not interested, card prices falling, who cares? Who really cares about that? It becomes less like the lottery, and it becomes more you have to really love the product to open it. Because if the sets become too much supply of that, then the card price will inherently fall because they're tied to it. They'll be less scarce, and so there's less interest in the hobby, which is good, but not for Pokemon. So they won't reprint. They'll focus on the new sets. They'll focus on continually having novelty, more products to come out, the same way they're doing with Pokemon Pocket, continually putting out new sets. And it's a shame. It means there's less enjoyment for people, and Pokemon seems to continually be going through these waves more and more recently. So obviously COVID was slightly artificial, so who knows what that happened, but now it's even more hype than COVID. So who really knows? Well, maybe sort of censoring out the C word. I don't know what the algo likes, as you can tell. But if you want to enjoy Pokemon at the moment, you like ripping packs, there's too much scarcity, and you don't want to go and buy scalpers. Japanese, buy from scalpers. Japanese is really the best option. There is so much supply of Japanese. You can always get more product from Japan. Other countries, a little bit harder. But if you really want to get the best prices, cheapest prices, I'd say Korean is a good bet. Chinese market is also interesting. There are people who sell that. But I heard bad things about the pull rates, especially for, I think, the Chinese version of 151. Pull rates weren't great, although there's a lot of hype for that because there is this alternate artwork. But Korean, basically the same as Japanese, just cheaper prices. Japanese, some people like it, the authenticity. You get the sets earlier, so that's a bonus for people. And it's a cheaper price. Although for some sets, it's really climbing up, especially the more recent sets. And that is one of the really big markers, I would say, the price of certain Japanese sets, that shows you that we're probably almost at peak Pokemon. There's definitely a Pokemon bubble at the moment, and it will burst eventually, but we will see. Probably not until 2027, 30th anniversary. What can you do? If you want to buy Japanese or Korean, then link in the description for the Chase Club, my Pokemon store based in the UK, shipping to UK and Europe. Otherwise, let me know your thoughts. Do Pokemon not want to reprint? Can they not reprint? What's going to happen? And where can you get Pokemon stock? Let me know. See you in the next one.